Hi, Sagafi, Liberty Home Mortgage. Right now, it's January of 2023 when I'm doing this video. You know what this topic is? Is a recession coming? So I've done a lot of videos on the recession and on the pending recession coming, right? My prediction is comes in Q4 of this year, maybe Q1 of next year. You gotta remember, the definition of a recession, this could be hotly contested and debated because it changed last year. Going with the generally accepted historical definition as I know it to be, but what do I know? It's 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, okay? Definitely this quarter, the Q1 of 2023 into Q2, you have some potential across this whole entire year. There's a lot of layoffs, there's a lot of hiring freezes, okay? As of right now, I believe the recession, when it comes, and I believe it will come, okay, you gotta have 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. Remember this, okay, just remember this. You don't really find out what the gross domestic product was for a quarter until 60 days after the quarter ends. So the truth is, I believe Q4 of 2022, the fourth quarter of 2022, you're not gonna hear about what the GDP was until the end of February of 23. I believe it's gonna be positive, okay? Now it's gonna be a little bit positive. I don't think it's gonna be gigantic, but a little bit positive. So right there, you need Q1 and Q2 of 2023 to be negative in order to be called a recession, again, by the generally accepted historical definition of a recession. So end of Q2 puts you into June 30th. You don't hear about it until the end of August. So I don't really think we'll know for sure until the end of August. Personally, I think this is in the weeds of somewhat of a recession right now. The layoffs are going up with, Meta, Facebook, Google layoffs, things like that. These layoffs are just occurring and they're occurring over the next 3 to 6 months. They're not laying off 20,000 people all at one time, okay, but they're laying off a lot. So that's going up. I believe that ultimately with unemployment right now being around the 3.7% range, and does that tell the full story? Of course it doesn't, but this is the data that we have. So unemployment, even in the worst recession possible in the current market that we're in, I think could get up into the 6s, even though 5s is probably it. I mean, if you're going higher than 5s, it's not much higher than 5s into the 6s. So again, when you benchmark it versus the Great Recession, which unemployment was at 9.9%, this is not going to be anywhere near that. The Federal Reserve is slowing down the increases of the federal funds rate. As of right now, the meeting's this Wednesday actually, so I mean a couple days, by the time this video's out, that number's going to be out there. I believe it's going to be a 25 basis point raise. I think they're going to get the Fed funds rate, which right now is around 4.5. I think they're going to get that up to about 5 to 5.1, 5.2, and then I think they're completely done. So I think they're going to do a quarter point raise here coming up February 1st. I think they're going to do a quarter point raise in March. I think they might very well do a quarter point in May, but they're going to get it up a little bit more. But the truth is, I think the market's already prepared for it. I think that we in the mortgage lending industry overcorrected so much in 2022 that we've got room now to take a breath. Now, why is that good? That is good because people are no longer having to go $100,000 over the list price of a house to buy a house. That type of pullback alone, if you just take the gas out of the housing industry for, God knows, investors throwing cash around like it was growing on trees, you just get rid of all of that out there and going 50,000 over the list price. Get rid of all of that, you're gonna affect the numbers by themselves. Thereby, I do not believe that we're gonna crash and burn into a fiery ball of hell, basically. I think that as the Fed has called it, they're looking for a soft landing. I think when the data comes out that we're in a recession, I think we're gonna see that a lot of what happened in the early part of 2023 was sort of recession-like. I think the market's gonna start flattening and turning a little bit. Not that and turning is probably the wrong word, as a matter of fact. I don't wanna make it sound like, okay, we're out of it now. You don't go through this just for a period of 3, 4, 5 months. But I do think in the first quarter of 2023, which is where we are now, I think this will be the bottom point of it. I think the market's gonna start strengthening. A lot of it has to do with the real estate industry. A lot of it has to do with what they've done with rates. Inflation, still a whole different topic, different everything I'm talking about doing. But I'll leave that one to the side for right now. As far as are we in a recession? Is a recession coming? I think there's no question one's coming, but pay attention to the data, pay attention to the numbers, understand that you need a couple quarters of negative growth in the economy before you start officially going into a recession, but you gotta keep following these videos. So follow my videos, subscribe, like, and share. Pay attention to the data, watch my other videos, and hope to catch you on the next one.